this week. It's our annual Thankful episode as we take a look back at 2021 and share just a few things that we are thankful for. Plus, we have our Fresh Tank, Black Tank, and just a little bit of news this week. This is RV Miles.
RV Miles is sponsored by LL Bean, dedicated to helping you experience all the benefits of time outside and stay more comfortable while you're out there. From soft and breathable activewear designed to do it all, to just right layers perfect for changing weather, to sun-smart clothing that blocks the sun's harmful rays, every LL Bean product is made with comfortable time outside in mind. Visit llbean.com to shop now. LL Bean. Be an outsider.
Welcome to episode 219 of the RV Miles podcast. I'm Jason.
And I'm Abby, and we are two full-time travelers who have been on the road since 2016 with our three boys crisscrossing North America. Here at RV Miles, we discuss all things RV and outdoors, from news to travel destinations, our national parks, and so much more.
More RVs were built in the month of October this year than any month ever.
So we're diving right into the news. That's what we're doing.
57,971 RVs were built in the month of October and shipped off to RV dealerships and to customers who had pre-ordered them, as of whom there are still a lot of.
Still waiting. 58,000, that's a lot.
Year to date, over 510,000 RVs have been shipped. That is huge. That's up 47% over last year, which was already a big year. And up 100% for Class B camper vans. That is like the big story in the RV industry, is that everybody wants a Class B van and the manufacturers cannot get them from Ford, Ram, and Mercedes.
Well, you know, like Bill Maher said, everybody's just trying to live that van life right now. So clearly it's reflected in the sales.
So all of that means that RV dealership inventories are beginning to build back up. And there are more used RVs out there too, as there are this time of year every year. So don't get all excited that everybody's getting off the road because you're seeing more used RVs at RV dealerships. That happens every time this year, and it is great to see that inventory being built back up for dealerships, because it's good for consumers that we have more options out there to choose from.
Well, as you talked about in last week's news video, the RVIA is saying that 72 million of us will be camping in 2022. So there might be some inventory now, but 72 million people might be looking for an RV in a few months.
Yes, about 61 million people were expected to RV this year from the same survey when it was taken last year. Now when it's taken this year, they're saying 72 million for next year. The survey is also showing that 5% of people who travel heavily will be RVing less, but about 12% will be RVing more. So do not expect next year to be any more open in the campgrounds than this year has been.
Well, we'll also have a little bit more to share, because I just RSVP'd you for that summit, or the discussion that's happening, that's being hosted, I think, by RV Share, Hip Camp, Expedia. They are all coming together to kind of share what they are expecting for travel trends in 2022. So that's going to give us a little bit more of an insight as well. I think KOA is actually supposed to be there. So that's really going to, in the next few weeks, kind of also provide us with some information that we will share with you. I love that you did not wait to dive into this episode. This is generally our shortest episode of the year. It's our thankful episode, because
dive right in.
So Jason's already got pumpkin pie on the mind. And so, and in fact, we're supposed to be going over to the in-laws tonight for some fish tacos. So I think Jason's like, let's just do this podcast. Let's get moving so that our friends who are having to travel, we're hoping to get this out on a Wednesday, because we want to give everyone who may be traveling for the holiday just a little extra something to listen to if you have kind of a long drive.
This is our thankful episode, which means we're going to talk about things we're thankful for in the next segment. But we are back near my family for, actually, we're like less than a mile from my family.
Mile and a half, actually.
For Thanksgiving. And dealing with the cold okay.
Yeah, but I have to say, compare this experience to the experience we had when we wintered in Minot a couple of years ago. This is way more pleasant. And part of that has to do because
I'm not puking 17 times a day, and you're not driving to the hospital 3 times a day. And
A, you don't have a hole in your head. Let's leave all the medical stuff aside. Let's just put that over in its own little corner because that's just its own thing.
there's no snow on the ground yet.
Yeah, shh. Although what I thought were these cute little flags that were being put up for some electrical work.
They have flags. They put up a whole bunch of these
You gotta tell this
about
story.
4.5 foot tall flags all around the campground loop here. It's gravel road, and Abby was like, "Oh, I wonder what kind of work they're doing." I'm like, "That's so the snowplow can see where the edge of the road is."
Don't like that. Don't like that at all. But where I was going with that is that this is so much more comfortable. I think, because we insulated the windows with a window insulation kit. What on earth? We didn't do that when we were in
I have
Minot.
no idea.
I don't know. And also just because we have a little bit more room to spread out. I mean, there's things that are, we have here that we didn't have in Ranger Gandalf that are making this a little bit more bearable.
50 amp power helps with the
yeah, it
space
does.
heaters and
yeah.
the fireplace and all that. Yeah.
We have that roaring fireplace. The fact that I already have my Christmas decorations up, that also helps as well. But, I am looking forward to, not that I'm counting, but about 6 weeks we will be in Florida. So I am looking forward to putting all your fall clothes away.
6 weeks, 2 days, 42 hours. That doesn't make sense.
925,600 minutes.
So we are enjoying it here, and it is cold, but it has not been too bad.
Nope. And we will test out even just a little bit more cold Thanksgiving night because it's going to get down to about 17 degrees. And we'll really test out that hot water or that heated hose.
We got a heated water hose, and I waited till we got to this site to buy one because I didn't know how far from the water we were going to be.
And they're expensive.
And I had to buy a 50-foot one instead of 25 foot was just too short.
Woof.
50 foot is way too long, but we had to buy a 50-foot one, and that's real expensive. So that's annoying. But
It's annoying. But that said, when I was out for my walk 2 days ago, our neighbor 3 or 4 down from us, I passed and they had their water filter hooked up to the spigot. They had their just regular hose, and it was a pool party.
yeah,
over
you
there.
showed me a picture that their water filter had busted open, and it was just spraying
Just water
out
was
of the filter. So even if they had a heated hose, that would have happened because they had the water filter on the faucet side, and that would have froze up regardless.
Yeah, but odds are that their hose probably froze too because it was about 21
maybe
degrees that
some
night.
other things.
Yikes.
That's rough.
Yeah, that is rough. So it was a little expensive, but I'm thankful to have it. And, we'll get through it. And regardless, we're just really glad to be here and be here with your family. It's nice to be with everyone during the holiday season.
Before we jump into the thankful stuff and take our little ad break, do you want to talk about our merchandise store?
Oh, goodness. Sure. Why not? Really quick. So the RV Miles store has officially launched. For those of you that were on our mailing list, you got an email bright and early this morning announcing the launch, as well as a little coupon code for all of you on the mailing list to use as well. We are so excited about this store, and I'm going to link to it in the show notes at rvmiles.com/219 and then down below in the description on YouTube so you can go and look at it for yourself, because I said this last week. I think it's a really lovely representation, I think, of the kind of vibe and energy that we want to put forward here at RV Miles. It's very community focused, and I wouldn't say like that we shoved RV Miles too hard in your face. Like, we have a really hard time. For those of you that have been around for a really long time, you know that Jason and I have a very hard time with things like merchandise. In fact, we don't have a single RV Miles sticker. I don't think we own a single. Up until the order I made today, we've never had stuff that we've worn.
Yeah. Yeah, now you bought $600 worth, so I guess we're going to be wearing RV Miles shirts for a while.
I got it all at cost. We write it off as a business expense. But that said, we are trying to balance what is our discomfort with that a little bit, and discomfort with
self-promotion.
Yes.
Which is, we're 90% of this job and we hate it. But
well, it was also 90% of your job when you were in theater, like as an actor. But, there's something to be said about how you're expected to walk in to a room with your headshot and resume. Like, that's expected. You bring it and you're like, oh, look at everything I've done, but this is different. And so, but we're doing our best to listen to you, the community here at RV Miles. And this is something that's been asked of us for a very, very long time. And there were a couple people that really kicked it in the butt for us. And one of it was a mom that emailed me that was like, my son loves your podcast and I would really, really like to get him a t-shirt. And I said, oh, well, when the kids come knocking. Okay, now we got to do it because there's a kid and I can't handle that. That's too adorable.
So you can find the store. Just head over to the homepage at rvmiles.com, but we'll also link to it in the show notes and the description for this episode as well.
And if you do end up purchasing anything, which thank you very much if you do, please let us know and please share it with us. Share it in the Facebook group or tag us on Instagram and let us see it out there and, let us know what you think. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the store.
Okay, we're going to take a minute and you can listen to these ads from our great sponsors and we're going to come back and talk about things we're thankful for this year.
Be back in 2 and 2. Find your next camping adventure with the Spot Tonight app. Spot Tonight offers real-time visibility across numerous campgrounds available for immediate booking. Easy to use and free to download, with Spot Tonight you can build a traveling profile, share parks with friends via messaging, and mark your favorite campgrounds. Travelers can search for specific parks that meet their exact need for tonight and beyond. No more blind searches in hopes of finding an available spot. Simply look, book, and go. Campground owners download the Spot Tonight app and see how your park can join a vastly expanding network. For more information, visit spottonight.com or simply download the app in the Apple or Google Play stores. Look, book, and go with Spot Tonight. The holiday season is here and Solo Stove is currently having its biggest sale of the year. Now through December 5th, you can buy one, get one on camp stoves, 35% off fire pits, 40% off fire pit bundles, and so much more. Plus, RV Miles listeners can save an extra $10 on their Solo Stove purchase of $100 or more. Head to rvmiles.com/Solo Stove for all the details and enjoy this extended Cyber Week deal through December 5th.
All right, Chuck Woolery. We're back.
How dated do you think that reference was?
Well, I could tell you exactly how dated it is. It's like about 35 years dated.
I know. I'm trying to figure out if it's 35 years dated. Why was I watching the dating show at
maybe
7?
Maybe 30 years. No. Yeah.
No. I mean, 30 years is not 1970, right? Like, that's also something that's really hard to process these days.
I don't know when Love Connection came off the air. I don't know.
Oh, it was Love Connection? It's not the dating show? What was the dating show? The dating
show.
game?
I've never heard of the dating show.
Wasn't there am I confused? The Newlywed Game? Am I confusing? If I literally just made have I mashed all of these together?
Love Connection was Chuck Woolery. They had like the typing, like it was basically like if like when you create like the video ads and send them to people, but like the TV version of that.
Oh, okay. I mean, I kind of remember. So maybe
it's like live personal ads.
What was the one where they had to write things on plaques?
That was not the Love Connection. I think that was Dating Game.
Was it Newlywed? No, it was the Newlywed Game.
The
Newlywed Game.
Sure.
Yeah. We would be awful at that game.
Those were older. Yeah.
Just know that if we went on that show, we would not be winning a trip to Hawaii. Not as newlyweds, anyway.
I think I'd do pretty well, but.
Okay. Well, I can't go back in time 14, 13 years. So,
Chuck, what are you thankful for?
Oh, I'm going to start?
Okay.
Start,
yeah.
So
we can go back and forth if you'd like.
Yes.
We each have 3.
Okay. So I love that we do this episode every year because it's kind of nice to think back on the positives of the year. And, last year it was so nice to do that because last year was crazy and this year continues to be a little crazy. So I will kick off by saying what I think is obvious. I am very thankful for our new home.
Yeah.
Very thankful for it. Because boy, I didn't know we needed to spread out until we were able to spread out. And then I didn't know how badly we needed a king bed until we got a king bed.
We've never had a king bed.
We've always had to sleep really close to each other. And now we don't have to do that anymore. So
yes, if children wouldn't keep jumping in our bed, it wouldn't matter as much.
Well, it's just Henry, and it's a process. It takes a little bit of time. But I am really thankful for this particular opportunity, for the chance to not only better the living quality for our family, but then also have this opportunity from a business standpoint to experience what it's like to work as a brand ambassador for a particular RV brand.
This Sabre 37 FLL is such a cool, unique unit that we've been talking to lots of families that they're interested in buying, or they're buying it because it just is a great layout for them. And like we've said over and over, it allows us to have bedroom space, but still tons of living space, which is so rare when you're looking at a RV with 2 bedrooms in it, right?
Yeah, and I like being able to share our experience with Sabre and to be able to speak to them about just what is working for us or not working for us, and I appreciate that. But in a year when things could have gone one way or the other for us, I'm really thankful they did go the way that they did, and I feel fortunate every morning I wake up and I look at the 18 windows that I put plastic over for hours and hours and hours recently, and I'm so thankful for them. All right, Jay, what are you thankful for?
So I'm thankful for the fact that we have finally been able to do what we're doing not in a bubble. This year, we have been able, we just had the meetup. We were able to meet so many listeners of the podcast and viewers of the YouTube channel, people that have been so supportive of us for years and years, finally able to meet some of those people in person. We've been able to go to some events and meet a lot of our peer content creators that are doing the same stuff that we're doing, and get to sort of talk and commiserate and do all that sort of great stuff, which is, these people that we feel like we are very close to because we know them on the internet. We've known them on the internet for so long, and now being able to know them in person has just been absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, and it's been cool, I think, too, for our kids to see that side of our business as well, because I think that, again, like you said, this particular year has, I felt like, been one that on a daily basis, I think to myself, I can't believe I get to do this for a living. I can't believe that we're fortunate enough. And, Lord knows that we put the hours in. I think the other night you were up till 5 a.m. working, because sometimes things just go wrong and you got to stay up, and there's no one you can pass it off to, right? Like, you are your own person. So if something goes wrong with the business, you can't just be like, hey, Dale, can you take care of this for me? I have to go home. You have to get it done. Yeah. But these opportunities to go to the Fiesta and to RVE and allow our kids to see, what mom and dad do for a living inside what others do for a living as well. And the kids that are there with their parents who do this for a living, like, that is a great gift because it puts so many things into perspective, and it's also very humbling. Because it reminds you that, every day is so valuable, and it's just to not take it for granted. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a good one. And that was going to be my third one, and you stole it. Oh, look at you.
What's yours? What's your next one?
So my second one, is one that almost on a weekly basis over the last couple of months has just brought me to tears, because it has been the return of the theater community. It has been the return of our dear, dear friends in Chicago going back to work, opening their doors, turning on the stage lights, getting back into rehearsal, and to just see them all back there creating art again just is amazing. And we were able to, take the kids this summer to see a musical. We're in a few weeks, we're going to be seeing The Nutcracker, which is so special to Ethan and I, and something we've been doing together for years. And we didn't get to do it last year, but this year we get to do it, and this will be the first year that I do this with him, where I don't go home and write a review. Which will be weird because this is usually the time of year where we're doing a lot of holiday writing when we're in Kansas City. That doesn't mean that our particular side of the theater business has come back. We've continued to keep that dark, but to see opening night pictures and to see Jeff recommend it, just to see it all happening again it fills my heart with so much joy.
Yeah.
So, all right. What is your second?
My second is one of the biggest things that I wanted to do when we got on the road was to be able to go to the Grand Canyon. And it's this silly, we only spent a day there.
Only.
But I get emotional even thinking about it. We've gone 5 years without going to the Grand Canyon. We've driven past it so many times and finally went, and we've been able to do so many amazing things over our last 5+ years on the road, and that wasn't even near the top, but it just felt so good to be like, this is something we can finally do, and we have the time to do, and we have the money to do, and we have the ability to do this, and finally we're able to do it.
And it was pretty spectacular. And I ate my words a little bit on the Grand Canyon. I was enchanted.
What were you expecting?
Well, you know how I get when things
one of those people. It's like, it's just going to be a hole in the ground.
Well, I'm subpar parks. No, it's kind of like, like what I did with Hamilton and things like that. They just get real popular.
And the Balloon Fiesta. And
and then, but I am also very, very, very content and very, very willing to admit when I'm wrong and when something surprises me. And the Grand Canyon, it surprised me. It was grand. Grand isn't a big enough word for it, but it was lovely.
What's your last one?
So my last one is, as you were talking about that, is just that I am thankful that given what we had in 2019, what we had in 2020, what's rolled into 2021, that we've rolled into 5 years on the road. And we're still able to find the magic and the joy and the wonder. Like, we've been on the road for 5 years, and the Grand Canyon is bringing you to tears because we're still seeing it. And that just means there's so much more out there to see. And I'm so thankful. I feel like this whole episode, I hope nobody gets a cavity. We're just like spewing sweet over here.
We got states we still haven't been to on the map back there.
Poor Georgia. I'm sorry, Georgia.
Somehow we miss Georgia.
It drives Ethan nuts.
Everything north of West Virginia and then Oregon and Washington, we've still got a lot to visit.
Yeah, and we have a scratch-off map that's behind us. For those of you who can't see with your ears, we have a scratch-off map behind us, and every time we have the rule that we have to sleep in the state. That's the only rule we have. And we have somehow managed to do all of the southeast, up into the Carolinas, and somehow not gone to Georgia.
Yeah.
And so Georgia just sits there driving our 11-year-old crazy that it still cannot be scratched off. So I have promised that on our way to Florida this year, we will do one night
at least
in Georgia. So I am thankful for the fact that there are still wonders to be found 5 years into full-time RVing, and that I'm also thankful that still coming home to family is just as wonderful as when we only used to get to see them once a year, and now we get to see them 2, 3, 4 times a year, and it's just still as wonderful. And it's so good to be with them and to see them continue to all be happy and healthy and prospering as well.
Great.
One more?
My last one is, it's been difficult for a lot of us to deal with the newfound love for the outdoors that a lot of people have, and the many, many people that are in campgrounds and national parks now. But I'm very thankful for that new focus on the outdoors. I think, first of all, I think it's great for us as humans and for our health and all that sort of stuff. But the attention being paid to improve our national parks, for instance, and other public lands is it's really strong right now. We had the Great American Outdoors Act that passed last year, big bipartisan act that put lots of money into filling that maintenance backlog that the national parks have and other public lands. And now we have the infrastructure bill that was just passed. And whatever you think about, the amount of money being spent in Washington and all that, I do like where some of it is going.
Yeah.
There is going to be a lot of money filtering into repairing roads and bridges and ferries and everything in national parks,
And
campgrounds over the next few years.
I was going to say, we talk a little bit about that on this week's News from the Parks episode. So if you listen to America's National Parks podcast, once a month we do a News from the Parks episode. And so one of the things that's coming up there is some of the things the infrastructure bill will give the national parks, what we will be able to do in some of the parks, what they're focused on. So that's also going to come out on the YouTube channel, on the RV Miles YouTube channel. Now, there's two because we like to divide things up and we like more work. So we've got RV Miles podcast YouTube channel, and then we have our RV Miles, the OG. That's where you're going to find the news. There is no RV and camping news this weekend. We're taking the weekend off from that, but we are doing the news from the parks.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a break and we'll come back with our Fresh Tank Black Tank.
Be right back.
Electrical surge protection is one of the cheapest insurance policies you can provide for your RV, and the Power Watchdog Smart Surge Protector, made by Hughes Autoformers, beats the competition with field replaceable surge modules. With other brands, when the surge protector takes a large surge or a spike, you have to throw it away. The Power Watchdog can be brought back to life with one small affordable part you can replace yourself. They'll even give you a free surge module in the first 2 years and now have a limited lifetime warranty. Use the coupon code RVMILES, all one word, for 10% off your order at HughesAutoformers.com. That's code RVMILES for 10% off at HughesAutoformers.com. Fall is around the corner, so it's time to start thinking about prepping for the winter off-season. Whether you own a motorhome, a travel trailer, or a truck camper, EmpireCovers.com is here to help protect all your vehicles against Mother Nature. EmpireCovers.com offers high-quality, affordable covers that are engineered to protect. Every cover comes with a free multi-year warranty to guarantee that it remains durable over time. If you're not in need of a full cover, Empire has just launched a line of RV rooftop covers that keep the roof of your RV clean and protect it from UV rays. Listeners can receive free shipping and 60% off the original price of their cover order. Visit EmpireCovers.com/RVMiles or use promo code MILES60 at checkout. EmpireCovers.com. Protect what you love.
All right, I love this because it's like a double dose of thankful stuff. I mean, black tank, not so much. But
yeah, I was going to say, mixed in with a dirty old black tank.
So
all right.
Let's check the levels of our tank. Abby, what is in your black tank this week?
Oh, me. I'm in my black tank. So, Jack was watching the AMAs, the American Music Awards. They were on a couple nights ago. And the whole time, if I had sat next to him, and I refused to do it because I could have sat next to him the whole time and been like, who's that? Who's that? Do you know them? Do you like them? Do you like their music? Oh, I haven't seen that person before. Who's that? Oh, I haven't seen that before. Wow, that's interesting. I could have done that almost the entire show.
There's one guy that covered a Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons song. I recognize that.
Did you recognize that from Jersey Boys?
Yes.
From a musical.
From the band that's like 40 years older than me. But
it was one of those moments where I thought, okay, I'm old now. Or, 20 years ago, I was like, I will never, ever not know what's going on in music. I will always be connected to music. And now I'm just like, did Weezer get nominated this year? Like, I haven't left 2004. Like, what's happening? And so I went off and was doing stuff, just kind of listening to it in the background. And then all of a sudden you're like, Abby, you need to come in here. And I was like, is that New Kids on the Block? Is that in KOTV? Is that Step by Step? And boy, I was up there and I was I had the moves with them. I couldn't believe how much of the lyrics I remembered. They were covering all my jams. And then they're going on tour with In Vogue, New Edition, Salt and Peppa, Rick Astley.
Oh my gosh.
I can't even handle it.
That's wild.
And I'm like, In Vogue. I'm so there. I'm so there. So I black tank myself for having one of those real cliche moments where I couldn't even sit and watch the AMAs with my kids. So I gotta get better at that.
All right, what is in your fresh tank this week then?
Okay, so my fresh tank, I just thought that this was a really heartwarming story. And over in Elkhart, the RV capital of the world, Dutchman RV has partnered with Sleep in Heavenly Peace to manufacture 24 bunk beds for children in the Elkhart County. And I'm just going to kind of read from this press release because according to Sleep in Heavenly Peace, roughly 2 to 3% of American children are without a bed of their own. And that can be something that families really struggle to provide. And so Dutchman and Sleep in Heavenly Peace have partnered together to give kids their own bed, which I just think is, something I actually never really thought about. But if you stop and think for a second, having your own bed gives you your own space. Like it gives you some sense of ownership over who you are a little bit.
Yeah, I particularly love charities that do one specific thing and make an actionable thing happen immediately, as opposed to just, I'm giving you money to sort of, distribute as you wish, but like a real instant change. And Dutchman, being an RV company, has the ability to build some bunk beds to give out to kids. I think that's great.
And it's not just the bunk bed frame. So these are going to be bunks or singles. They are going to come with a mattress pad, pillow, sheets, and a comforter. And I know that Lippert Components has partnered into this as well. They donated the mattresses, and then Great Lakes Forest Products provided the lumber for the beds. So this has been a real team effort.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate that hearing stories like this coming out of Elkhart and seeing this community come together in ways that really do make such an impact. And anytime we can help children have a better life, I think it's lovely. So thank you to all of them for doing that.
Absolutely.
All right, Jay, what is in your black tank this week?
Okay, so we've been watching a lot of baking shows because, it's the holiday season.
And by baking shows, really,
and
we've just been watching the Great British Baking
Well,
Show.
and also, they do the bake-off things on the Food Network where they bake the holiday cakes and stuff like that.
Holiday Wars.
So here's my issue. Why is it that every time somebody puts a little bit of booze in a cake, there's a shot of brandy in a cake, we're all acting like we're being so naughty eating this cake. Oh, I'm gonna get drunk off this little.
It all
cake.
burns off.
Yeah, there's nothing. You're not getting any alcohol. What's that all about? Ooh, Prue really likes it when they're boozy. Come on, it's not a cocktail. It's a cake with some sauce on it.
She likes being able to taste the tequila. It's a very weird narrative to be like, I love when it's boozy, but there's no booze in it. It's just like the flavor of said booze. Like you could give it to the kids and not worry about it.
Yeah.
It's a little weird. We have watched a lot of baking shows over the last few weeks. Not going to be slowing that down anytime soon.
No.
All right. What is in your fresh tank this week?
I participated in a Black Friday deal.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, the Blackstone.
Yeah.
So
man. Okay,
we
that's all right.
We upgraded our Blackstone. So we've been traveling with a 17-inch Blackstone griddle for pretty much our entire time on the road.
Yeah, almost 3 years.
And it's been great. But for our family of 5, it's not quite big enough. You can't put a whole packet of bacon on it, and Henry eats half a packet of bacon on his own.
I love how for years we have based our Blackstone usage all the time when we talk about it on whether or not how much bacon we can cook on the Blackstone.
Well, it's been kind of annoying because it's you put half a packet of bacon on it and cook that, and then the other half and cook that, and then you cook the pancakes or eggs or whatever, and
so hard, Jay.
But it takes one thing is cold when everything else is done. So I've been wanting a 22-inch for a long time, just a little bit bigger, has 2 burners, so you can have 2 different zones. Walmart has them on a deal right now through Black Friday week for $117 for the 22-inch, and it comes with a lid, which is amazing that they're finally putting a lid on these things, because when you're camping and you leave your griddle outside, like, you want to cover it, and it's a metal lid so you can throw it on right away while it's still hot.
I'm looking at our sad 17 sitting out there on the picnic table, rusted,
well, because what
lid.
I've had to do all this time is take the actual, once it cools down on our 17-inch, I take the griddle plate itself and flip it upside down. And that's what, keeps the top from rusting, but it makes the bottom rust. So now we have a 22-inch Blackstone with a cover, and it comes with a bag to put it in. $117, good deal. If you go to Walmart and you want to find it, you have to keep checking, because it was unavailable, and I refreshed it for 10 minutes, and then it was available, and then they go away, and then they're back. I don't know why, but that's what I did.
So I'm done with Christmas, right? We're good.
That's not
right?
No, that's not a Christmas.
Merry Christmas, babe.
That's like buying.
That's
that's
not how that works.
Cooking appliances are not Christmassy.
That's...
I need a new camera.
It's time to close with a tip. And we have been, here we go again. We've been off and on with these a little bit, but we're going to provide a tip from us this week. And actually, you can see the whole shebang of tips over on the RV Miles YouTube channel, not the RV Miles podcast channel, but the RV Miles YouTube channel, because we just did a whole very short, quick video on easy tips that you can do today to conserve propane and keep things a little bit warmer if you find yourself doing whiter winter camping like we are doing right now.
So we're going to give you a teaser of that by giving you one tip, which
was the biggest one, I think, in the whole thing. So we're not holding back. We're giving you the best of the best.
If you have 20-pound cylinders, do not exchange them. Get them refilled. It is a drastic difference. It is way, way cheaper to get them refilled, and
you get more.
You get more. This is not a conspiracy. This is not some people just underfill them and some people don't when you bring them there. The exchanges are always 15 or 16 pounds of propane instead of the 20 pounds that you're supposed to get. It says right on the label on the blue. We have one Blue Rhino that we went out and got because we needed a third, and it's nice to have the option to exchange it if it's an emergency or out of propane.
And for sure.
So that's why we have our 2 nice ones that came with our unit. We have the third Blue Rhino exchange one. So if it's late at night and we're we forgot we're out of propane or whatever and need to go exchange it somewhere, we're not worried about getting rid of our or one of our nice new tanks.
Which Abby's already run down to the gas station at 10:30 at night to do that.
But you do get way more, and it is much cheaper to do the fill instead of the exchange.
Yeah, and also, check with, now major retailers will do this like a Menards or a Tractor Supply, but, also check around a little bit into the community you're going into, because you can also sometimes find that a little bit cheaper. Now, for instance, when we were in the Camp Verde area, it was $1 cheaper to use a local person than it was to use the Tractor Supply in the Camp Verde area.
And lots of people will say Tractor Supply, it's always the cheapest for propane. And we were just kind of blindly doing that.
Yeah, no,
not realizing that it was way more expensive. So
so look around in the community you're visiting, and then also, this particular campground that we are at right now, for every buy 4, get the 5th.
It's
free.
buy 5, get the 6th free.
No, card says buy 4, get 5.
Really?
Says it on the card. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
I checked it.
That's a good deal.
It's a very, very good deal, especially as propane prices continue to climb a little bit. So,
and speaking of, that's what we're going to do right now after we record this, because it's time to fill our propane.
It is time, and it is also time to wrap this up. So, thank you so much for listening today. We send our very heartiest Thanksgiving wishes to you and yours. If you are traveling this holiday season, please stay safe. If you are thinking of doing any shopping on Amazon this weekend and you would like to take RV Miles with you, this is our biggest weekend when it comes to support. So if you think about it, please go to amazon.com/shop RV miles, and then you can go off into the Amazon universe and buy whatever you want. You can browse our store for ideas, maybe for someone on your gift list this year, whatever you want to do. But this support, we get a kickback directly from Amazon. It does not come out of your pocket. It makes a huge difference here at RV Miles. So thank you so much to everyone who does that. We appreciate you. Until next week, please continue to travel safely. Thank you so much for watching, and keep logging those RV miles.
Bye, everybody.